Hello everyone, this is Super Eevee Master here. Welcome to the 2014 Sylvania 300 here at New Hampshire race review. Anyway, so we got a lot to pack into today because this is one of the most major races of the year. So 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 let's take a look here. First of all, let's go into the pre-race here. So the pre-race, heading into the pre-race, Keselowski led two of the three practices. He started on the pole. He won the race in July. Everyone thought he was going to easily win and sweep both New Hampshire races. Anyway, and we also had to look out for pit road issues. And maybe we didn't have issues making pit stops, but there were certainly several cars and chasers that had to come down pit road for issues. Anyway, the start of the race was actually moved to 5 race because of weather concerns, and there was a 60% chance of rain. And throughout the race, we did see sprinkles, So and the last and entering this race, it was 13 recent races, or 13 races the last 13 races have produced 13 different winners. But obviously, that streak came to an end. But we'll get to the winner in a moment here. So when we think, so when we look at this race, the race was actually a sold-out crowd, which I was actually not expecting. I never really expected New Hampshire actually fill up all seats, and even though for those who pay attention like me, some you may notice that some seats may have been empty. Those people will probably somewhere else. So when we look at we had a competition caution here on lap 35, and that was the first of many cautions. But we'll get to that in a moment here. Keselowski he led the opening race up until the competition caution here, and I said in my live stream that I think in order for someone to take down Brad Keselowski, a whole bunch of cars are going to have to team up together to take 2 tires, and that's what he did. Keselowski was put back into 15th place, and he actually, when the restart happened, he actually fell back, and struggled to get his way up to the front. So yes, and then Dan Hamlin he led a portion of the race, so did, and then we saw Kevin Harvick he led a portion of the race, and he was another one of the, as I said last week, he was one of the championship favorites. And also on these restarts, we saw a lot of gusty moves. We saw a lot of dive bombs. We saw a lot of dive bombs to make positions here. And we saw several cars get sideways, and that's not something that's unusual at New Hampshire because cars get sideways a lot because New Hampshire is a flat racetrack. And I remember the night before the race, I was going through some of the comments on some of the recent NASCAR uploads on YouTube, and some people were saying things like, "Well, New Hampshire shouldn't be a chase race." I think they put New Hampshire on there because New Hampshire is a flat track and it's just a different racetrack. And some people can say, well, Martinsville is a flat track, but I think Martinsville is a different type of flat track. It's a short track. It has concrete, so yeah. So I think that's why I put New Hampshire on there, because of its unique character. So I don't know. So throughout the race, we saw a mixture of clouds and sun. So very versatile, very versatile weather conditions here. And also I must say there was a point from about a lap. They didn't really say anything on television, but I was watching lap by lap coverage on NASCAR.com, and one of the things I wrote down was somewhere between the lap 70 and lap 101, we saw a few drivers like Corey LaJoie, son of nationwide champion Randy LaJoie, Kurt Busch, and a few others reporting reports of oil. But then the caution never came out for oil, really. So, and there wasn't really a whole lot of engine failures, if I can recall correctly. On this, so early on, we saw a lot of green flag racing here. I believe in the first 170 laps, if yeah. In the first 70 laps, we only saw 2 cautions, and then in the last 130, we saw 13, and that's what and now let's get to cautions here. This race had 15 cautions. That is the second most at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in one Cup race, and that is the most of the year. Never in my life what I had anticipated that New Hampshire Motor Speedway after race there it would break the record for most cautions of the season. Now we still have 8 more races to go, so maybe the record can be broken, but that record is probably going to stay. And I was not expecting the New Hampshire race to have as many to be a wreck fest. I never really ever saw New Hampshire as a wreck fest, and I don't think many people saw it. And I don't think many people saw New Hampshire as being one of the best races of the year, which I think it is, and a lot of people would say that as well. So, yeah, so I think New Hampshire, yeah, so I don't know why people got, like really like antsy and thought it was time to like rush through everything. Yeah, so I don't quite really get that, but something was different. So who knows what why people were racing super crazy and they had that many like, cautions. But it's very exciting, and this is probably the best New Hampshire race I've ever seen. It was just kind of interesting because I feel like, in my opinion, New Hampshire is not really a track that creates a lot of like moments. Not really a lot of like moments that's going to go down in NASCAR like for like ever. So I was very surprised to watch the race, and I enjoyed watching a New Hampshire race, which is something that I never thought I would ever say. But there I said it. But here we go here. But we also saw, anyways. So to go along with all those crashes, we saw a lot of chases. Chases involved here. Let's go. Let's just go to like an NASCAR stands here. Kurt Busch. Let's see. Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman, Casey Kane. Let's see. Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, and Brad Keselowski all had issues here today. So that's so let me like count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chasers. Eight chasers had major issues here today, and it kind of. Oh yeah, put Dale Jr. on the list as well. So that's 9 so 9 out of the 16 chases here had major issues. So 2 weeks in a row, and we have at least more than half the field in the chase had major issues, which is not really going to help them. Unless you're Brad Keselowski, because it seems like Brad Keselowski this year, it seems like Brad Keselowski can like recover from like anything. But we'll get to Brad Keselowski in a moment here. So yeah, and because of that, the point standings is super tight. Okay, the difference between 12th and 13th is 6 points, and since Eric Almirola did not have an issue, he actually has a much more better chance to get into the second round now on points, because drivers like Kurt Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth all had issues here today. And when we look at the huge change, and when we look at like a huge change right here, Jimmy gained 4 spots. Keselowski and Logano, the top 2 drivers in the points right now, who are Penske drivers, they're actually separated by 1 point. But since they're already in the challenge round, they're on television. Their points are never going to show. So Kevin Harvick is in third. Johnson is in fourth. Kyle Busch 5th. Junior 6th. Jeff Gordon 7th. Kenseth 8th. Edwards 9th. Allmendinger 10th. Kane 11th. 12th is Newman. 13th is Hamlin, 14th Biffle, 15th Kurt Busch, and 16th Eric Almirola here. I would say right now, heading into Dover, I think the top 7 drivers in points, I think they are safely in, but you're safely in because Jeff Gordon is he's 21 points ahead of Denny right now. So unless Gordon has like a major issue, I think he's going to be in. And I think anyone above him is safe. So yeah. So when we look at the top of the charts here, obviously, as they said, it basically Hendrick versus Penske. And it's true because when we look at the top 7 points, you have both you have both Penske drivers, and then you have 3 of the 400 drivers in there. So Hendrick versus Penske, it's living up to its name, but we'll just have to see what changes in the points after Dover. I think. Okay, so I think possibly because I personally think that in some cases it's kind of hard to recover on points. I think Hamlin, Biffle, Kurt Busch, and Almirola, even though they're not that many points away from securing themselves some points, I'm almost gonna say that they may already just be out. But who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens at Dover. Dover is well actually let's get to Dover in a second here. So when we look at now let's go into where everyone finished here today. Okay, Logano first, and Joe Logano. I'm not really upset about Logano winning. I mean, I was hoping that someone else was gonna win, maybe a underdog who's in the chase may win, or a non-chaser. But I'm not really upset about Logano. I think Logano. I think he was very consistent. He was very consistent. He played good strategy at the end there when he said in his victory lane interview that he thought it was not going to work. So yeah, so I think Logano. I think he. Well, I think anyone could have deserved to win this race. So it's not like Logano didn't deserve. I think he did deserve to win, and I'm happy for him. Second place though, second place is Kyle Larson here. Kyle Larson, and it makes me think that if Kyle Larson did not have the issue in Michigan, maybe Kyle Larson would actually have been in the chase. But Kyle Larson here, he finished second right here. I don't think Kyle Larson. I think his car is not strong enough to actually contend with the leader, which is what I think happened there at the end. Because I think Kyle Larson he restarted fourth and got up to second, which I think is very impressive on a green checker here at New Hampshire. But Kyle Larson, I feel like if Kyle Larson, if they can just I feel like that possibly Kyle Larson down the road, maybe in the next year or two, I think Kyle Larson could be one of those drivers who restarts second or third on a green white checkered, and his car is just strong enough to get by the leader right here, because even though Kyle Larson's car was fast, his car is not strong enough to contend with someone like Keselowski or Logano. For third place, we got Kevin Harvick right here. Kevin Harvick, he led some laps early on. It almost looked like he was going to win it in the final few laps, but then cautions kind of ruined that chance. Fourth place here, Jamie McMurray. So both Ganassi drivers finished inside the top 5 here. Jamie McMurray here, I love the paint scheme that he drove. For those who pay attention to it. So McMurray, I don't know. I think possibly Earnhardt Ganassi choosing to go to Hendrick Engines has really paid off for them. They have finished a lot more better than what they did 3 years ago. So I'm proud of Jamie McMurray, and maybe I don't know, who knows? We got tracks like Talladega that could go well for him or Larson, but who knows? I think for McMurray and Kyle Larson, though, I think they're going to have to get better, consistent finishes if they want to be in this chase down the road. Fifth place here, Jimmy Johnson. So that was definitely a great recovery from what happened at Chicagoland. Even Chicagoland, I would say he's safely going to move on here, unless something drastic happens, which I don't think is going to happen because we're going to Dover. But I think possibly Johnson. I think now he's going to make some people be like, maybe Jimmy's back in it, because Jimmy finished fifth here yesterday. But that was a great recovery because if you remember what happened to him in July, he started second. He came down pit road at like lap 7, and then to change the tires because he apparently had low air pressure, and then apparently that low air pressure issue cost him, and then he hit the wall on lap 12. So he only completed 12 laps back in July. He entered this race with the smallest notebook and was able to grab a top 5 finish right there. So I was definitely impressed by Jimmy. 6th place, Eric Almirola. So good top 5, not good top 5. So good top 10, almost top 5 for Almirola. But I think Almirola. I almost think that at this point Almirola is going to have to win next week if he's going to be in the chase because I think even if like Eric Almirola finished in the top 10 next week, there will most likely still be drivers like Logano, Harvick, Johnson, and Keselowski that will still finish in front or around him, and it will kind of keep him out because they are all in front of him. So Keselowski, okay, so I think Keselowski. It seems like I don't know why. I don't know. It seems like this year Keselowski is like Mr. Recovery Man. You can make him have you can make him have pit issues. You can spin him around on the racetrack, and he can still get up front. I thought Keselowski was going to win. He played good strategy all day. I don't know. So Keselowski, but as I said last week, I don't think that you can have like a mistake like every single race and still recover from it. Some mistakes are not going to recover. And when I think about it, Keselowski when he spun midway through the race, I think he was lucky to not hit the wall hard enough because Keselowski could have like a spin around and hit the front of his car or hit the back of his car even harder than what that was. So I think Keselowski kind of got lucky right there when he spun. But what I'll say to Keselowski is that you're not going to recover from every single mistake. So I am definitely concerned about him if this continues. 8th place, Kyle Busch. It looks like the bleeding has stopped here, but if you remember, Kyle Busch got involved in a multi-car crash here with like Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, and Matt Kenseth. So Kyle Busch. So to have all that like front end damage and still get an 8th place, I think that's good. But I think Kyle Busch, he's definitely. But I think if Kyle Busch is going to possibly get into the 3rd round, the elimination round, I think he's going to have to finish better and possibly win. And when I think about it, I think Kyle Busch. I think one of Kyle Busch's like better tracks in the contender round is possibly Charlotte. He's won H1 races there, and he's won truck races there. So I would watch out for Kyle Busch in Charlotte, and never know, he could be a contender at Talladega. So we'll have to see where Kyle Busch ends up next week. 9th place, Dale Earnhardt Jr. right here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. They haven't really talked to him. I would say I feel like this so far in the chase that the spotlight really hasn't been that. There hasn't really been a whole lot like spotlight on Dale Earnhardt Jr. this year in the chase, but good top 10 for him. So okay, now I gotta speed along here. 10th place, Brian Pickers. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that Brian Vickers could have possibly finished better, but nice way to end. Nice top 10. 11th place, Austin Dillon. Good run for him. 12th place, Martin Truex Jr. Both those drivers have really good runs. 13th, A.J. Allmendinger. If A.J. Allmendinger is going to get into the next round, he's going to have to finish better than 13th or win. I don't think he's going to win at Dover, but if A.J. Allmendinger is going to get past the next round, he's going to have to hope that everyone in front of him points, crashes, or he has to win. Because 13th place next week is not going to cut it for him. 14th Clint Boyer, 15th Paul Menard, 16th Biffle, 17th Edwards, Biffle, who's outside the top 12, and Carl Edwards, who's near it. Both those drivers have to be really concerned. I don't think Biffle is going to get past. I think Biffle is going to get eliminated because he's had top 20 cars in the first 2 chase races. So I think Biffle is going to have to step it up here. He has won at Dover before, so 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 he okay. Uh, Let me recorrect myself. He's a multi-winner at Dover, and Carl Edwards, I believe, has won a few Dover races here. Um, so maybe both those drivers could step it up. But I'm not sure. I think Biffle's going to get eliminated, and Carl Edwards is going to survive. Ryan Newman, 18th, he was involved in that multi-car crash, and possibly after that like multi-car crash, he actually got the least amount of damage. But surprisingly, Kyle Busch, who had more damage than him, somehow finished better. 19, Dan Patrick. I feel like that Patrick did not deserve to finish 19th right there. I think she had a much better in the car than 19th. I think at one point she was almost approaching like the top five. So Patrick, I think she is getting better. I think Patrick, she's getting better, and maybe in the next few years we could see her easily can contain for top five. But let me say this to all her haters out there. She is getting better. 20, Justin Allgaier, nice top 20. 21st, Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth, he's probably going to. Matt Kenseth, he's 8th place in points. Matt Kenseth is actually he's 8 points ahead of his teammate Hamlin. So I think Matt Kenseth should be concerned. But I think if Matt Kenseth could just finish solidly inside the top 15, I think he has no worries right there. Casey Mears, 22nd. Casey Kane, 23rd. Where's Casey Kane points? Casey Kane is an 11, so he's on the bubble. He's just a mere 6 points ahead of Hamlin. So Kane needs to like step up his game because I think a finish like 23rd next week is not going to cut for him. 24th, Marcus Ambrose. 25th, Lane Castle. 26th, Jeff Gordon. I think Jeff Gordon this week in New Hampshire, Jeff Gordon pulled off the Eric Almirola. He was around the top five and he was catching his teammate Jimmy Johnson, and all of a sudden his right front tire blows very unexpectedly. And I do feel bad for Jeff Gordon because I don't think Jeff Gordon deserved to finish 26. I think he had a much better car than that, but I don't know if that was in his control or not. But I think Jeff Gordon he needs to fix those problems. 27th, Dave Gillen. 28th, Alex Bowman. 29th, Michael Nett. 30th, Tony Stewart, who brought out the 15th and last caution. 31st, Reed Sorensen. 32nd, Travis Kvapil. 33rd, Josh Wise. Can I get the rest of the fishing order right here? 34th, Mike Wallace. 35th, Timmy Hill. 36th, Kurt Busch. Oh, Kurt Busch. Here, where is Kurt Busch? Oh, right, he's 14th, so he's pretty much, I don't know. I said earlier that I think possibly everyone outside the top 12 is probably getting eliminated, and Kurt Busch are here. Much like our beautiful top 20 cars is not going to cut. So I think Kurt Busch, is probably going to get eliminated, probably, but we'll just see what happens in Hampshire. Hamlin, he led some laps early on in the race, and I do feel disappointed because I think his car was mature, but fuel issues. I think the 11 car should check their like fuel like 5 times before the race next Sunday because Hamlin is 13th in points right now. He's the highest car out of the cars that are in the bubble right now. So I think Hamlin, he's going to have to finish a lot more. He's going to at least need like a top 10, I think, in my opinion, or maybe a top 15. 38th, Colquitt. 39th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 40th, Strimmy. 41st, Corey LaJoy. 42nd, David Reagan. And 43rd, Clay Rogers. Okay. Okay, here. So yeah, so very great New Hampshire race. As I said, I think probably the best New Hampshire race I have like ever seen. And I think this race will definitely go down as one of the best races of the year. I don't know. I think with this chase, you know, I think they're pushing for a lot of like drama. You know, I think with the chase, in this format, especially this year, it drives drivers to actually like go hard and race hard. You know, and I think that's why we saw a wreck fest. I think that's why we saw a wreck fest here at New Hampshire, and I think that's why we saw some crazy action at the end there last week at Chicagoland. But for two tracks where, in my opinion, I don't really care for it, and we haven't seen a lot of action. Very very good races to start the chase, and hopefully that continues as we go into Dover. Well, let's actually talk about Dover. Anyway, so next Sunday we are at Dover here for what I believe is, I'm pretty positive that it's called the AAA 400, but I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think I am right. Yes, I am. Anyway, I had to get a drink right there. So Dover races can either be really, really exciting, or they could be just like lackluster. And I feel like that, I think that we could see a lackluster race here, but who knows? Maybe all that drama and excitement will carry from Chicagoland and New Hampshire into Dover, because we could see a big one at Dover. Because of the Dover, if we do get a big one, it's gonna be massive here. Maybe that big one will get a few chasers. We saw that in 07. So you can go find that race. So yeah, I don't know. There are several drivers that I could like easily pick right here. I could easily pick someone like Johnson because I believe Johnson. I think if Johnson wins at Dover, it'll be his like 10th career win. But I may be wrong, and Johnson can extend his record as being the ultimate Dover winner here. But I think because let's go to the okay. So as of right now, I'm typing in 2014 FedEx 400 and see. Okay, so Johnson won the race back in June. Keselowski finished second. Kenseth finished third. Blair finished. So when we look at let's look at where our chasers finished back in July. Johnson first, Keselowski second, Kenseth third, Hamlin fifth, Logano eighth, Junior ninth, Carl Edwards 14th, Gordon 15th, Harvick 17th, Kurt Busch 18th. Casey Kane 19th, AJ Allmendinger 21st. Let's see, who else here? Ryan Newman 31st. Greg Biffle 38th, and Kyle Busch 42nd. So some of our chasers finished really good, and some of our chasers finished really bad back in June. So yeah, so who knows what could happen at Dover? I think Dover, it's a really cool racetrack. I've actually been to Dover, but I'm not gonna go. I'm not really going to go much further into that story. So I'm not going to answer your questions about my Dover experience. So yeah, I don't know. I really could go either way. I'm going to pick Jimmy Johnson to win the race because I think that good finish, I think that good top five at New Hampshire is going to pay off when we go to probably his best track in the chase. So yeah, I'm going to confidently pick Jimmy Johnson. But I think definitely Keselowski and Logano and Harvick and Gordon. I think they're all going to be drivers to watch for as people who could possibly end the Jimmy streak, but who knows? Anyway, I think that's it on my live stream here. So I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I hope you were able to hear. I hope you were able to hear and enjoyed listening to everything I had to say and all my thoughts, and post your comments on what you thought of this race and what you think about and what you're looking forward to next week at Dover in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all there. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and bye.